Revolt against who? The American people. I must realize that we have a revolting situation. Let's face the facts. The King George, Queen Hoover hypocrisy have gained control for years, and now that's the situation. It's a revolting against the laws of God and man, the Constitution, Bill of Rights, civil rights, and we have to revolt against that, such a revolting situation where actually the American people realize it, but we're not really taking our government back. Let us get our government back. 52% plus say that it's corrupted. Now, what can we do? Well, believe it or not, about 50% of the people in the U.S. don't even vote anymore. They just don't vote, 50%. So if we get 40% of that 50% that don't vote, we could elect anybody we want to really represent us. You understand? Now, I have to be careful. I mean, I'm not alive because King George, Queen Hoover, murdering, assassins, genocide, eliminate witnesses. They, about half a dozen times, barely survived. And I've survived brutal crimes and conditions for decades. I just grin and bear it and say the truth. We have to revolt against this revolting condition where by hook or crook and by guns, assassinations, rigged elections, rigged the Supreme Court decision, or something, whatever. You have, they say there's no difference anymore, so you hope to vote for the lesser of two evils. When 40% of the 50% that don't vote, we could elect anybody we want, that we need, that we should, to represent us. Now, I hit the computer and it conked out, so I had to start over again. And I said, my main interest, I have 4 programs. Universal Pure Christians, Preacher Doc. Then I have DocC PhD Company, world-class scientists and inventions. The Xerox, X-E-R-O-X, billion-dollar corporation. My original work gave it the name, so I should be a billionaire. They completely reversed it. I'm anonymous, not known. All the things they forced me into, such a, to be against the government, like, and so, a super patriot. I still am a super patriot, risking my life right now. We have to get our government back. And there's lead implication, stimulated electromagnetic radiation. I took light, amplified it, stimulated with a ruby crystal, get electromagnetic radiations, coherent beam. This is a multi-purpose, futuristic, coherent beam, and I did the work and gave it the name. And the first thing I did is maybe use it towards helping sightless people. I present the true facts. These are the true facts, and this is who I really am. And the laser beam has been #1 in the world for about 20 years. Therefore, who am I? So they hit me with quantity to do me in, keep me anonymous. And say, what can I do about it? Well, I thought about it. I quantitatively can present what I've achieved there for who I am, so that's what I'm doing. And certainly to obtain justice, honors, and financial compensation for me and for you. Because there were some that I talked to and so forth and got some help. But I did the original work of Let Him Kiss the Mother from My Radiation is my original work, and you better believe it. Therefore, by the laws of God and man, the laws of the Constitution, Bill of Rights, Civil Rights, that's my work. I must, not could or should, I must be honored and compensated. And if I'm compensated, so will you be. But what they got to figure is if they can do that to me, then they can do it to anybody, anywhere in the world, and that's what they do. That's what they practice. This King George, Queen Hoover hypocrisy. So of late then I've said, look, there are such good cultural people in the world. This is an august body of culture. And my motto is upward and forward. Upward and forward. So I said, well, I'll present who I consider to be maybe in the top 10 in the previous century. And I have Pope John Paul II, Mahatma Gandhi, Franklin D. Roosevelt, Winston Churchill, Vladimir Lenin, Mao Zedong, Mikhail Gorbachev, Mother Teresa, Fidel Castro, and I think I can and have included yours truly. Now, as Doc C PhD Company, World Class Science and Inventions, is what this video as being presented by. I on the science, well, there's so many, I maybe into history, and in no particular order, but from my knowledge, they did the original work. There's not a plagiarist. And number one, of course, is that of E equals mv squared by Olinto de Preto, who stole it from him, by the world's greatest plagiarist, and they now use the c as for the velocity of light, so they say E equals mc squared. So Galileo Galilei, yours truly, Louis Victor de Broglie, Louis Pasteur, Max Planck, Jonas Salk, Sister Elizabeth Kenny, Thomas Edison, Marie Curie, Enrico Fermi, Niels Bohr, Henry Poincaré, Olinto de Preto, David Hilbert, Max Born, Christian Huygens, Erwin Schrödinger, James Clerk Maxwell, Johannes Kepler, Nicholas Copernicus, H.A. Lorentz and G. Fitzgerald, Carl F. Gauss, Philip Leonard, Emilio Segre, Pavel Shrinkov, Lisa Meitner and Otto Hahn, Archimedes, and the ancients who forged metals. I may have omitted some, but that's from memory and taking a quick look. Well, am I just mentioning names? No, this is culture, achievements. And the august body is one of culture and achievements of what is good. Not the down and dirty, backward King George, Queen Hoover, horrible fellas, you know, how cripe. We have to go with what is good. And an august body, I think, culturally in the world, is the best, or at least as good as any group. And that's what to go upward and forward with. And that's what I'm doing now. I say, of course, to all of those who agree and recognize the true facts, and if they can be of any help, let's go upward and forward, and I thank you.